This is your host Ash. You know, every runner has a reason. Sometimes it's clear, sometimes it's hidden, but it's there. It's the thing that gets us out the door when alarm goes off at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., or when it's raining and no one is watching. For some of us, it's about chasing a time. For others, it's escaping something. And for the rest of us, it's just about feeling alive for a little while. This episode isn't about splits or medals or who ran what race. It's about why. Why we keep lacing up even when it hurts. Why we go back out there when logic say we shouldn't. And why somehow it brings us home to ourselves. So, today's conversation is with two people I really respect, two completely different runners, two completely different lives. And yet, every time we talk, it reminds me that running connects us in ways that go beyond pace or distance. This is something new we are doing. Just honest, monthly talks about running and life with friends who get it. No scripts, no showmanship, just real conversation. So, yeah, grab your coffee or your shoes if you're listening while running and join us for this one. It's about the thing that keeps us showing up. In that note, please let me introduce to our guest today. Here is Val and Bobby. Welcome back to the podcast. I think it's going to be another great conversation like we always have. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. Happy to be here, Ash.
I'm going, I'm singing in Starbucks, so it'll be interesting. Lots of fun.
Yes. And it's raining now. But we're going to start with some nonsense and stupid things this time around. So it's going to be a lot of fun stuff. But I think it's a good kind of fun stuff. So, if your running style was a movie genre, what would it be? Are you a high-speed action flick? I think that's well. Or it would be a slow indie drama or a horror movie in the rain.
You can go first, Bobby.
Thank you. Way to put me on the spot. I would say I would probably be a comedy because I'm comedically unprepared always. I just go with my watch will tell me how far I'm running, and then I'll just kind of have an idea of what direction I'll go in. I don't really plan things out very scientifically, so I just go with the flow and everything is nice. The comedy. I'm also not very, and I have to celebrate, right?
I suppose, yeah, for me, I don't know. I think I just have to go with my favorite genre from the beginning, like rom-com all the way. Like, they don't make good rom-coms anymore, though. I kind of like the story of running. Like, I like the idea of, like, going out for a reason and then seeing what comes my way and kind of getting distracted with whatever it is and just like feeling it and going with the flow, but also like intention and I don't know, I guess just like fun and excitement and then like enjoyment, but also like making things happen.
I think for me, mine is like the action thriller where I get lost because I went to a trail today and I don't know where I was going. So I kept running and I trying to find a path because I needed to get to some destination. So I was just like, where am I going today? I don't know. Let's me go this way. Maybe that is the right way. So I like to take a lot of detour and then I get lost when I'm running. So mine is stupid.
Yeah,
But
I get
I'm
lost
safe.
too.
But I'm safe. I don't die, so I think that's like a thriller in a good way where I don't die.
Always good
That's
advice.
the ultimate goal.
Yes.
And like we run a lot, right? Like all of us, we have run such a long distances. So while we are running, I'm sure that you guys have seen something weirder, or we have done something weirder. Like if you go and run around the house, around the park, running in the jeans, sneaky bathroom breaks. What's the weirdest thing that you guys have done? I'll say my at the end. It's
I did a race. It's both a optional race. So I would have to say that would rank in my clear number one is the weirdest thing running related. It's one of those fun challenge things that someone said it's been so dared off the game and we did it. And I don't think I'll ever do it again, but that was the fun video game. Bingo card of someone else. I was well.
weren't you hot when you're wearing the costume? Because it's when did you run it? Was it in the winter or the summer?
All summer.
Oh, how fun was it? Was it not hot?
Well, I mean, it will, yeah, it's an interesting experience for sure. Which, yeah. I don't think do something outside your comfort level. I think regardless, that could be about running, but it could be about not running. I definitely think that's one of those opportunities that is kind of fun to explore, but they're really up in the jump, didn't they? But you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm totally normal. I never do anything weird. So I don't know. I can't really think of anything, but one time, like part of running, the thing that I love about running is just like being outside and like seeing what's around. You know what I mean? Like you're going along and like where I am, there's lots of people outside because the weather is amazing, of course, in LA. So you should all come and live and be my friends here. Anyway, but and so that is fun. There's people outside like doing things. And so when I'm running, sometimes I just see some really weird stuff. And one time I saw this person walking their dog and their dog had clothes on. I think it was a normal thing, like for their dog to wear clothes all the time. So I think that's like a fun thing about running is like not really answering your question, but giving my own answer, I guess, is just that like it's a reason to go outside and be in nature and be around other people. And there's something to be said about like, even though you're not like interacting with others, like how we are back and forth, just being there and around and seeing like people in your community and, you know, you wave to the crossing guard or whatever that is. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like that's good for me.
What kind of clothes? You need to give more detail about the dog.
Yeah, it was amazing. He had like brown corduroy pants. It was almost even like a Scooby-Doo vibe, but like, I mean, like Shaggy but Scooby. I've never.
Yeah.
He had like a green shirt and like, I don't.
Maybe
It was
that.
one of the highlights of one of my runs.
I've seen dogs in sweaters and jackets, but not like necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, pants. The dog was wearing pants.
Yeah, that is.
Well, there was a little
interesting.
hole for his tail.
Important. And for whatever needs to come out of general legal rights.
Yes, yeah. That was really an important part of the clothing
It's just,
bit as well. You don't want to deal with that.
yeah.
Do you have a picture of that? Did you take a picture?
No, I didn't. I just
Dang it.
took a picture in my brain to keep in my little pocket.
I was like, we could have put it on the podcast and said this was a dog. That would be a nice thing
Like,
to do.
well, that would have been really good, but
It'll be a new
now you
logo.
can't. Sorry, I ruined your
Next
whole
time.
podcast.
Easy.
No, for the next time, maybe we should capture it.
Okay.
So we can talk
Okay,
about it next time and then bring it in.
Next time. Okay. Sounds
So,
good.
so I moved here from the US, right? So whenever you go to the US, when you go around the lake, you see people are not naked. But in Germany, if you go to the lake in the summer, everybody's naked. They swim naked. That's like one of the first, like, I was like, WTF, like, what is this? Like,
Yeah.
first culture shock, I think that was it. Because in the US, whenever you go to the sauna too, nobody's naked. Here, it's like, what? I think those are the weirdest thing for me is like, and another thing is like when you go to the Berlin Marathon, like there is a forest and nobody goes to the bathroom. Everybody's there, open. It's so weird. I think Europe is weirder than US in those kind of things where you see people. Oh, I don't know if you guys remember the story. So one time when I was running, I saw a dude naked running.
Issues.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god, like, I've seen weirder things. I've not done like Bobby on the costume and stuff like that, but that was like the weirdest encounter was seeing that dude coming naked from the other side. I was like, what is going on here?
That's your thing.
like-
Maybe you can start wearing your birthday suit too, Ash. Maybe that's your costume.
I don't know why he did it. I mean, I wanted to ask that question, but it's just awkward to see a naked guy coming and asking me questions like, what is going on, bro? Like, what are you doing? That would have been. I think I saw him once again the next time, but he had clothes on, so that's something.
What's called Phil? You wrote it.
And also, we are in this group chat together, and we talk a lot about each other, and we bullshit a lot. I think a lot of time we just sit talking. So, what is one thing you guys? I know we talked about this in the last podcast too, where we talked about what's something you generally admired about the other person as a runner. And I know it's not something we say, so.
Yeah, I can go first. I feel like for the both of you, I'm just going to kind of lump you together a little bit in this moment, is like just like the keeping on trying. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure like with Bobby, every day, like some days it's like, oh, like I'm supposed to run every day, but like this is what it is. And like same with you, Ash, like even just like what you were saying, like from the beginning, at the beginning of the podcast, or maybe we weren't recording, is that like you adapt and you like tweak things, you figure out what works, and it's like on the daily, like of like, okay, what can I do? How am I going to get this done? Like, what do I need to change? Like, what do I need to do? Because this is a goal that I have. And so I feel like I really appreciate that, particularly. So usually my kids go off to school. I'm a stay-at-home mom. And so like, that's my time that like the mornings are super crazy. And then when they get home from school, it's super crazy. But like in between running errands and doing the things that I'm supposed to do, that's when I get my run in, but no one is really around. So I can be exactly consistent. I can go at this time and like, it's not that big of a deal for me. But my kids are home in the summer and I like discussing with my husband and like, okay, when is the best time for me to get my workouts in, for you to get your workouts in? Like, how are we going to arrange this? And so we decided, like, yeah, I think maybe in the morning isn't necessarily going to work. So like I find a lull in the afternoon. Like I hang out with the kids, get them to camps and things. And then like when things have settled down, that's when I go. But it's been a little harder because I have to do it. Like it's not like a set routine. and it kind of changes a little, but I have to keep the main goal and then tweak along the way, if that makes sense. And so I just really appreciate like seeing the both of you, like between work and school and family and, you know, like all the things you're doing, you are listening to like your body and what you're feeling like you're capable of that day and being realistic, but also pushing and challenging yourself. But then you're also adapting, but keeping that main goal. So I really appreciate that. And that's something I admire.
Yeah, I would say it kind of echoing what John said. Your ability to do all the stuff that you're accomplishing. I think it's super admirable. And yeah, it's fun to see. I think I might have said it previously. And I know I actually stay in level and attention to detail. Things after you finish something, the amount of what you extracted from the effort and your evolution and all the other stuff that like I'm completely oblivious to. And that always stands out to me. Like I think it's really cool that you're able to memorialize all that information in such a detailed manner. And then you're doing this great podcast and talking with other people and I think creating a nice environment for people to come to and gather information on what people have had on their own. And Val, I think you make it look so easy. I really appreciate your regular video updates every day. I think that's really cool. It's not something I'm very comfortable with. I don't know. I have no idea. I actually just want me to agree and do this multiple times, but yeah, I think it's really nice. Like, I feel like it's that behind the camera, it's the real balance, so to speak, like giving us like, you get a picture of your life, and then you're just your regular post. My account is pretty much just running. I don't necessarily touch on too much non-running stuff. So it's just nice to see your dresses on the weekend or the flowers and other stuff that you do. I think that adds some vibrance to you bring to the space of the world. So I think those are common things that I idea that they to be.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. When I look at both of you, I think when I look at Val, then I love how she enjoys every moment of her life, because whenever you see like her videos and the pictures and everything, and it's just like, oh, and it's just so nice. It feels nice when I look at your videos in the morning and when you talk about what you did in the day and what has going on, and then sometimes you go and do these random 30Ks, just like it's nothing, It's just like, she's like, oh look, I just did this 30K and it was just it. And then I think I like how you take the life and just enjoy it with however you have it. So you just do your biking and then you're enjoying it. You're in the beach and you're doing this hill workout, and it's just nice to see you enjoy it. And then I feel happy looking at your videos and everything. Like, oh yeah, that's nice. I was in California and I was like, I wish I had known you then. That it would have been so much fun. And for Bobby, it's like I said, like when I got into doing this ultras, I put a video not a video, a poster today saying why I want to run ultras. It's like I see you, Angus, and then Milton and James, like you guys are crazy, right? So I know you run every day, but then someday you just go and do this 70-80K run like it's nothing, It's just like, oh, it's not a big deal. I can go and I can get it done, and it just needs a lot of commitment to what you do too. Like we were talking about this run streak earlier on, and you have to be so disciplined, and I think that's the thing I admire about you. I sometimes don't have it. I get so lazy. And I'm just like thinking I need to go to the gym, and I'm just here scrolling, and then I don't want to do it, and I don't go a lot of times. So watching you consistently coming every day and showing up, I think That is one of the things I admire about you. It's like, wow, it takes a lot. It's not motivation. For me, running, I'm so disciplined, but when it comes to other thing, I'm just like not so disciplined. So I think that's the thing I admire. Is like, and I think I need some of that.
I only myself between days and I pretty much only ran all the day in the day, about a day, other stuff I've recently, then started going these all day. I'm going to call it some sort of challenge. It's like strength and squats and push-ups. Down. I've diversified my activities. My boss actually does a monthly challenge. So every month it's something different. So this month I have a poster-based debut, and I'll just go on in the we have 2,500 jumping jacks. Generally I did a jumping jacks, but I don't think I'm hitting 2,500, but I'm definitely doing like 50 a day. So it's like, that's really good for me. Definitely not something I'm going to probably do after the challenge, but it's kind of cool to be different things to keep things interesting. Because, as you said, running every day, it's great, but it can't start becoming not that it's long day, but it's part of your routine. So having those other different activities, I think it's kind of place in time to time.
By looking at your push-ups, I think I started doing push-ups. So I am doing 20 push-ups a day, not a lot, but it's been 6 days in a row. I'm doing push-ups, sit-ups, planks. I got up to 1 minute and 21 seconds. And I've been at least, that's the one thing I want to continuously do. So as long as I can. So I did it for last 6 days I'm doing. And then on some days I do other leg strengthening workout that I need to fix to imbalance my legs. So even though I don't go to the gym, I just sit here. Before going to the bed, I started doing it because you doing push-ups. So I was like, okay, I need to at least be consistent with something. So I started doing that. So 6 days in a row. Hopefully I can do it today. It was hard Saturday.
I think what I really love about just hearing you both talk right now and share what we all admire about each other is just that how amazing the community is actually, and how inspiring it can be. And in some ways it's we put those things out there, and sometimes it's hard. We can get in our heads of oh, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Whatever. But you put it out there, and in some ways it's almost like a mirror back to you. You can get the feedback of other people being wow, that's actually pretty cool that you're doing that. Or, I do those videos, and really, quite frankly, it was really hard for me to start doing them. And my husband would go through my stories, and I would just hide whenever I heard my voice, because I was that is so weird. Why do I sound so terrible? But then I've gotten more and more used to hearing my own voice. And in some ways, I feel getting that feedback too of other people being you know what, it's okay. And I actually kind of hearing about your regular normal life, or, these things that I was no one wants to know about that. That's not, that's so boring. Why would anyone want to know any of these things? And so it's almost a way to learn more about yourself and how you interact with the world. And the really cool thing, I think, is in this community, sometimes online, what you learn about yourself and how you interact with the world is that it's kind of gross and people are mean and bad. But I feel in this community, the really cool thing is it's honest and open and inspiring. And so it's a really safe place to explore that. And kind of what Bobby was saying, he does, his routine of running every day, but then also he is going out of his way to do the plank challenges with friends or whatever that is. And that's inspiring. And it's really cool. So I don't know. I just got that little takeaway and I just really love it.
You guys do things that I am not so comfortable of. Like we're talking about taking pictures the earlier on, and you guys put so many selfies on, and I'm like, I don't think I'm so photogenic person to take pictures sometimes. So I'm so awkward. Whenever I took picture like Bobby when he runs, I tried to take pictures. I look so awful today, and I was like, what the hell? What is going on? So I deleted that. I was like, and yeah, I cannot do that. So and that inspires me that you put yourself out regardless of, and then I really like that about you guys too. It's just like, don't care. Like, here it is. This is me. This is my run. I look so cool, and I'm like, yes, you guys look cool. So
Eddie Val definitely has that beautiful California background. So, which he's also just really cool. But yeah, I don't think I have any of the qualities that you're saying I do, but I don't mind taking pictures just to kind of keep myself accountable. Yeah, as well, it's just nice to know. Yeah, I think you raised a really interesting part. I think you both did actually, whether it's photos or video. I think a lot of us are so self-critical. Well, most people are. There's people out there that aren't, but I think in general, people are pretty cruel to themselves more than they probably should be, and so that repetition really does, I think, raise the level of comfort, be it photos, video, audio, whatever it is, running, walking, anything. You think like, oh man, that was not good, or whatever you're thinking about. And I think it's really important for people to just persevere. I was on a golf tournament for veterans this weekend. I hadn't golfed in a really long time, but a friend asked if I did. Sure, why not? And fortuitously, this one gentleman that was a part of my working, younger guys in his early 20s, just started a 35-day run streak. Like it was like a program, talking about himself. And he was previously 220 pounds. He lost like a significant amount of weight. And he was just talking about like the challenge of running. And so my friend had mentioned, we used to talk about maybe run this like every day, literally every day. And so maybe we guys seen eventually, like, just like in general, he was starting out super self-critical on, it was just reminding him, hey, it was 30 days out of Saturday, and like you ran 30 days in a row. That's incredible. There are people that will choose to not run 30 days at all in a year, and you've done it before, period of time. B was critical of his pace. It's like pace doesn't matter. I mean, you're almost judge of your running. It's going to get easier. Running is something that I think a lot of people lose some interest in initially, because I feel like it's something that's you don't recognize the gains that you're getting until so far down the path that, like, if you're interested in 5Ks or 10K, whatever it is, even a mile, it's not going to get easier until you do it for a pretty significant period of time to build up that level of stamina, that level of understanding and running technique. Like, well, you just go out 100% right out the gate, and then they realize, oh man, I'm crashing, I'm burning, what am I doing? And so it's like, that's just something in general. You have to acquire that knowledge. And everybody's a little bit different. You have to learn yourself. I mean, there are some standards, I think, for many people that translate, but I think in general, there's a lot of learning that happens in running that can apply in life as well. And so I think it's something to keep in mind for sure. And number one, be kind to yourself. I think that's a really good message.
I don't think I can take pictures like you. I tried. It was like, I was looking at it and it was like, oh, and it was like, oh God, like, I don't know how you take those perfect pictures. It's just like, oh my God, I looked awful today.
Here's the thing though, Ash. I saw like the pictures that you posted and I was like, that looks so good. Like, way to go, Ash. Like this is an interesting thing that like I was playing with the other day, is when you take a selfie, unless you like have it set differently, you see the like mirror version. So like the on your shirt, it's backward, just like when you look in a mirror. And that's how you like see yourself all the time, right? But then if you turn your camera around or you switch it so that it's not the mirror version, that's how people really see you. They can read the writing on your shirt and it's not backward. And so I think sometimes, so often, we like see ourselves in that mirror version and we're like, what is this? Like, that's like a version that I see. And maybe we're more critical. We're looking really closely at, like what is going on? Like, why do I look like this or that? But then like other people around you, like they don't look that closely. They see all the parts of you in some way. They see that you like, at least online, you're silly or you're hardworking and all those things come into play when they see your selfie. And so I think like Bobby was saying, like we can be so hard on ourselves and like get really down and be like so critical and kind of in some ways, we all do have that, kind of mean part of ourselves. Like we're kind of meaner to ourselves than we would be to other people around us. Whereas like we look at people and like, yeah, like maybe it's not perfect. You can tell like maybe they had a rough night or whatever, but like you take the good and the bad along with it. And I feel like sometimes for ourselves, we only want to see the good because we're always trying to be better, which is good, but it's okay. Like sometimes we need to see ourselves not in the reflection, but as who we really are. So, and the more we see that and get that input and feedback from other people, I feel like the more we realize that we're doing better than we think we are. And then also that we learn how to be more like what we want to be, if that makes sense. Like you kind of tweak it, as you're doing selfies and stuff, you're like, well, I think actually if I get the lighting, then it's a little better. But we do that on the inside too. We're like, someone said I did this and they liked it. And you know what? I like that part of me too. So I want to nurture that part. Or someone said this and I'm like, well, I don't really feel like that's who I am. So if that's what people are perceiving, maybe I need to change something, So I think just like with running and weirdly Instagram running community, like it teaches so much. At least for me, I take so many lessons for my normal life and like how to be a good adult or something. I don't know. There were no like rule books. So like, where's the guide?
As you know, like I like to take pictures, so I think that's one of the reasons too. So whenever I go outside and I take the pictures and I put it on my other account, and then when I take pictures of myself and I looked at it, and it's like, oh my God. And I think that is probably why, because when I take pictures of some object or some tree or some whatever, then it comes out good. But when I take it of myself, then it just I never liked it. So that's why I never see. I used to put pictures. That's why I never put it anymore, because it's can't be bothered with that.
Well, I would challenge you for 30 days. The next 30 days, I want you to just post a selfie, regardless of running or not. I want you to do it. And when we reconvene, let's see how it feels.
You'll get used to it. You'll like start learning that like, oh, that's how I look. And that's okay. And it's okay in like that it's not perfect. Because people will still be like, hey, good job, way to go. Because that's what you would do if you were talking to yourself and you were not yourself. If that makes sense.
100%.
Yes. Okay. I will give it a try. God, that's too much picture of myself.
You're allowed to take an activity. You do what I do.
Oh, God. I used to take it, but not anymore. It just feels, I don't know. Okay, I'll try it. I'll give it a try. Okay? Okay.
You're going to be okay, Ash. It's okay. we'll, we'll be here for you.
Okay, yeah. We will talk about it on the next podcast. So we have at least one topic to talk about next time. And we can how did the selfie experiment go? So everybody should do it, and then we can talk about it in the next. I mean, you guys do every day, so and we can just come back to this point and say, okay, how was the experiment? We'll call it selfie experiment.
Sounds good.
And moving forward, so you have done marathons, you have done ultra marathons, and you guys go and sometimes do this random 50K, 60K, 30K, whatever you like, just go. And during your running experience, right, what has been a point where you just surprised yourself and you were just surprised of how well you did, or if you were doubting yourself before the event or race and you just went and you finished and you're like, oh my God, I just did that. Has there been any situation like that where you, after the event was completed, you were like, oh God, I really kicked butt today?
I'll start off. I would say I've had a couple surprises in my racing. I think I'll limit it just to racing because that's probably slightly my listening to that people that are listening. I would say my first biggest surprise was the Philly Marathon finish that I had. It's like 2 years ago now, just for almost 2 years. Just because shockingly, even though I run a lot, I don't run a lot. If that makes it's like that's a running thing to say, but like I'm not really on a long distance finish. Which again, I know this is going to sound really stupid as I'm saying this. It's sounding dumb in my head, but follow me through on this a little bit. I've only run.
No, I think it makes sense.
Yeah, I've only run 2 official marathons, and I've done 2 ultras, like they seem. So, like in the grand scheme of things, I'm not really air quotey distance runner. And I think a lot of that has to do with availabilities and prioritization. So I'll run every day, but general, my weekly mileage is pretty low. I set a goal of 25 minutes per week. So nothing like I don't think anything to sneeze at. So I know people that run way more than that, and people are in this. Yeah. So point is, my first marathon was 2013. That was just traditional goal of first marathon. I want to survive. So finished that in 4 hours, 54 minutes. Respectable for me. Met the goal. I was kind of aiming for sub 5, so I did that just barely. And so then a decade of running went into not necessarily training for a marathon per se, but like running, like consistently running. And I think that, like I said earlier, that consistency is something that really translates. Like you don't realize what you gain until you look back at your average runs like, oh wow, on this day in 2014, I ran 4 miles and it took me whatever, 30 some, that's maybe 40 minutes, whatever it is. So 2023, I decided I'm a decade older. I'm going to try this marathon thing again. So that's one where I thought, all right, I want to, now I'm going to set, I want to bring my PR down. I don't know what that necessarily means. But I started out with a goal of let's see if I can break 4 hours. It seems pretty ambitious if you think about it. Like a 54-minute PR seems kind of insane, right? But that was my starting point, spring of 2023 when I was looking at doing that marathon in November, Philly Marathon in November. And I was okay, let's see if we can break 4. Started really, my run streak officially started June 1st, 2023. So I was running before, but that's when I really kind of re-energized the running, I guess. It's a little bit. So, I think, are we all Garmin runners? I think we are. And I've been, again, lazy runner here. I use Garmin Coach just because it's convenient. And so as I plugged in the summer, like the goal was like whatever, like 15-ish weeks out. Okay, going marathons, that goal. Let's see what we could do. And what's kind of crazy about that is like I would adjust to you as a runner. And so the goal of like 4 hours was that's the watch is saying I could do it. So it kind of gives you that little bit of hope, like, okay, maybe this isn't such a bad thought. But the weird thing that kept happening over the summer was the time kept getting lower and lower. Like it was like 3:45 and 3:30. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I try to not overthink a lot in life. My wife probably will laugh at that statement because it's very true. And I think that can have its benefits in some instances. And maybe this is one of those where you're like just bulletfully like, okay, well, let's just go for it. Not thinking like, oh, what if this or what if that or all that stuff. So long way to get to the finishing point. Once I was a couple weeks out, it was like September. I did all the Ragnarok in Pennsylvania. We ran from Harrisburg to Philadelphia. So it's like 200-ish miles of the team, which is really cool. And well, I ran 23 miles, not obviously all at once, but all of my legs were really, I felt really strong. So I thought, all right, well, maybe less is really possible. So I set a goal and like, I'm going to aim for 3:15, 4:54 to 3:15. And surprisingly, I finished in 3 hours and 12 minutes. So that was like pretty cool experience to be able to look off like pretty significant PR. That would say that would rather be the first big one. And then really probably the ultra, the other, I guess a couple weeks, a month ago now at this point, really. I set a goal again. This is another one of those foolish things. I don't really run long distance per se. So my longest run this year before the ultra was, well, I got the shirt on, the rock and roll half marathon in March. I ran 14.1 miles. That was my long range. And then last month, 42 miles, accumulating my age. It's fun, but it's just, I think, in general, though, to the point that, like, I feel like a lot of people really limit themselves by their mind. Like, I'm a super, super strong proponent of mindset. I think that like the stronger the mind, the better the body can perform. I know you need some biology and all that stuff to work well, and you need to not other stuff that happens, cramps, whatever, illness, all the stuff you can't necessarily control. But I really do feel there's a big component in like how you approach things mentally. And so I think that, for me anyway, is a really, really important goal of running is the mindset things. Because inevitably, at some point, regardless if you're running 40 miles, 20 miles, 10 miles, 5 miles, you're probably going to have that time where like, wow, this really sucks. And how you respond to that is, am I going to walk the hill? Am I going to just keep pushing through? And hopefully it sucks less. But where I will leave that, I guess.
I think consistency helps, and you run a lot, so I think that really helps. And people, it's very hard to do it sometimes, when, especially if you're training for a marathon, especially for a new runner too, because everything hurts when you start, and then you go for 1 week, 2 weeks, and you're like, oh my God, everything hurts. So I think your consistency of running is so good, and you do it for so long time. I think it just shows that you are very good runner. And I don't think distance is irrelevant if you do long distance or not, but you have been having your legs build up for so long of a time. I think you can sustain very high level of distance without even not running that much. That is so cool. That's why I said, like, randomly, casually went and like, hey, this weekend I'm gonna go and aim for 50 loop, and it's not a biggie, okay? I got this. So that's why I was like, it's so amazing.
Sometimes it's better to be foolish. Go for something ridiculous. But I remember like that Philly marathon training. that was just like the summer was, and my long renters were mostly garbage all summer. Like, you know what? I don't know what's going to happen, but I also know that some of it, for me anyway, I am a huge proponent of my summer running. Personally, I'll take all your winter miles, all your rain miles, like give me your that is beautiful, this not good stuff is not. So I feel like that's something for people to just keep in mind, like especially for newer runners. I know we're not necessarily speaking to just newer runners, but like I think a lot of people get so discouraged when they're running in the summer, especially if you're trying something distance spots. You know, most marathons are either calories, but generally speaking, yeah, it's certainly good. But I feel like some runners that are new to that distance get so discouraged and almost maybe scared because it's holidays long run go that like it's okay. It's okay to walk. That's fine. That's normal. It's allowed you to do it. I've walked this good number of my longer runs. But please, that like you're talking about the consistency, that level of fitness, cardiovascular, all the like your legs, everything's going to will benefit once you hit like September and October and those temperatures. More importantly, that humidity level drop or the dew point, I guess they keep this period at a dew point level. Once that drops to something that's not, but you're really going to be like, wow, oh my God, look at all of this unknown speed or stamina or whatever it is that I want. And then, that's one piece of advice I would give newer people that are trying it. Don't like summer running is like a horse in a different tone. Don't let that define your thinking of running, so to say.
Yeah, I feel like I would totally agree with all the things that you were saying, Bobby. And like the crazy thing is like you just kind of learn that from experience, like all these things. But I feel like also I really appreciate that question that the prompt that you gave us, Ash, particularly because just sometimes we do surprise ourselves. Like, I feel like that is one of those lessons that you learn about mindset as a runner and doing long distances. And so, like, for me, I think the one moment that surprised me the most actually was my very first half marathon. And I was not a runner before that. So I had done like a 10K and then I was like, okay, I think I can do the half marathon race. Like I'm going to try to do that. And so I, at that time I was super into, I've talked to you guys about the like Nico, slow jogging, like smile pace. And I didn't know what I was capable of at all. I just followed a plan that, I found online, and a friend kind of helped me, tweak it so it would work for me, which, I'm so grateful for. Like, just once again, the running community, people show up, like people are so willing to help you with anything, because it's like you learn and then you're like, oh, this is how it works. And then you want to share that with other people. And it can really be so helpful. But anyway, so I trained for that. And then, and all of the things that I was doing, it was just slow because I was new, and that's how it should be. Like, like if you don't want to get hurt or get burnt out, like slow is the way to go, that smile pace. And, just making sure the effort isn't too extreme for what you're ready for yet. Anyway, so I ran the half marathon, and actually to this day, that is still my PR. And I think it's just because I went out there and I just listened to how I was feeling, and I was feeling good. And I had, even though it was slow, like sometimes it is like you can go slow to go fast. Like we can surprise ourselves and do way more than we thought. But the trick is just like being giving ourselves that opportunity to stretch a little bit, like challenge ourselves, even though it's scary. Like I literally broke out in hives because I was so nervous about that marathon. But I just went out there and did what I thought I could do in that moment. And it was shocking. And it still kind of surprises me. And sometimes I'm like, I don't even know how I did that. And sometimes it's a little bit of beginner's luck. And then slowly you figure out, what it is that you need to do to be a little bit more prepared for those situations. But I think overall, like we can always surprise ourselves with like what we can actually do, and we limit ourselves a lot. And I feel like I have a tendency to do that. And so it's a good reminder that, mindset is huge, and really we can do a lot, but you need to do it carefully. Like you can't expect suddenly you're going to run a marathon after not training at all. So, yeah.
I don't think that has anything to do with the beginner's luck, because you were going and running, and I think people don't realize it. But if you run slowly, then you can go and perform at the highest level. And that is one thing I noticed is when I was running the Berlin Marathon, and I'm training for this ultra now. When I was running for the Berlin Marathon, my pace is around a minute and a half faster. I used to train at very fast pace. But when I'm doing this training for this ultra now, then I'm running around 7 minutes and 20 seconds or something, give or take. And I'm noticing that I recovering much faster than I was doing when I was doing the Berlin Marathon. And I am running much more, and I am almost around 9 hours on fit just for running in the whole week. I only do 4 runs per week, and I reduce one of the runs. So instead of 5 runs, I'm doing 4 runs. But I'm still putting up more mileage than I was doing it when I was doing the marathon. And it is amazing that people always think that they have to run faster and faster to get faster. But sometimes that's not the case, because if you run slower, then you can build up nicely, and then you can go and perform or just surprise yourself, like you said. And I think that has nothing to do with the beginner's luck. It's just like how you were preparing yourself by doing this slow run, and then you went and you just killed it. You killed it like it's like you are. You're a real life gangster, man.
Really, right?
Yes, that is the goal. That's the goal. That's
Look at her profile
spirit animal.
picture.
So intimidating, right?
Yes.
Equal parts gangster and silly goose, I guess. I don't know.
No, I think we'll take Thug as a like you are our. If we need to get somebody, if we need to stir up somebody, then we're gonna call Val. I think she's the one. We're gonna send you to take care of all the business for us.
I'm okay with that. I'll do it. I'm here for you. If anyone needs to be punched in the throat, I'll punch him in the. But I'm a pacifist, so I don't choose that life.
With this one time, okay? And then say, okay, we should do peace after that. And also, in that same topic or different topic, let's say if you could be, if you could be like at a world-class level, okay? At a one particular running skill, what would it be? Do you want to do speed, hills, recovery, pacing, eating gel skill? Because sometimes that's hard too. So what would be that one world-class skill that you want instantly right now, if given opportunity?
I can go first. I feel like whenever I listen to podcasts with like elite runners and things, like I feel like they are always they sound so relaxed and calm, and I can imagine that probably translates to their running as well, because like there's something to be said about like they are having to push, like no matter what, like the effort has to be there. And of course they have genetics and training and, all these things come into play. but it's the ability to understand and like go with the like idea that like this is going to be hard and it's okay that it's hard, and I am going to like feel that it's hard, but along with that I can like still like regulate my nervous system a little bit, and I can choose to like get through this in a relaxed, like positive way. So it's not necessarily just like blocking at all, but it's like going like being in the flow of it and being able to accept the challenge. And so I feel like that would be one of the superpowers that I would want, to have from, what I've seen and heard from like elite runners and amazing people.
Yeah, well, being uncomfortable is definitely something I tried to incorporate into my running. So, that's one. I'm torn the pains, either speed or deeper endurance. I don't know which is one, but that's depending on the distance that you're trying to face a little bit. I know for me, I always gone into this absolutely and a speed workout. I just felt very, very takes long. Another really important. I know now it's real good about going to the track every month and running as your fast and it's just again, and then from coach sales, whatever, Jared, generally speaking, walking out of the, full workouts, and I'm just probably not feeling another way so much down it, but it'd be like 900 degrees here in Pennsylvania, so like I don't even really want to breathe out at this point in my life. So I just skip it, but like I know that in general, that's probably I tend to want to do more of it's through workouts. So I guess now I'm going to count it to all of like speed. That I don't actually need to do the workout. I'll just buy it. Yeah, that's not bad.
I think I want the recovery so that I can keep going and running again. And endurance, I think you can build maybe, because if you run a lot, then you can generate it. But if we run a lot, then we get tired. So if I can just like run 30 kilometers and tomorrow if I can go and do it again, then I think that would be so cool. Like go and keep running and keep pushing yourself. So yeah, for me, recovery is something that I wish I can do better. But I think it's getting better because I run so slow, so I can at least go and run now compared to the marathons. I don't know how people run this fast pace all the time. It's so hard to recover your body, but I guess those people are so they train themselves so much that I think they are easy to. I think Bobby's pace is fast too. You run at incredibly fast distance, so I don't think you need speed. You're killing it though. You run very fast. It's look at your speed and everything. You're like it is fast.
All relative, right?
That is true. That is true. That's the crazy thing about running is that everybody, like, it's all effort, really. Like, it really is. Yes, speed matters in terms of, like, how fast you finish a run and your goals for a race. But someone could be, running 12-minute miles, and that could feel the same as someone running 8-minute miles. And so, like, you really can't, like, compare yourself, because you just need to be where you're at and do what it is you want to do.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really big point. The comparison game was I think there's that phrase like comparison is like showing it's speed of joy or something to that effect. And I really think that's super true. It's like, yeah, you see, I feel like it's really good and bad things like social media with following people on Strava, gardening, whatever it is. You see what other people are doing, and you're like, oh man, I wish I could help. And like, don't do that to yourself. I think we're all guilty of it to a certain extent, but like, I think whether it was a race or whatever, training roles, don't but then put added pressure on yourself, well then, like, it's already hard enough to learn, or it's already hard enough to set, an ambitious goal for yourself. Don't like integrate something that's completely out of your control. Like what now after running is zero impacting how I'm able to run any given day. So if they're doing this core workout or doing this great back workout that I'm not maybe going to do, why am I going to let that feel my day? So I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with. You can just, ignore the noise or cancel out what other people do. And especially like if you're at a race, you see, inevitably there's someone, most likely someone's going to be faster than you. Maybe many people are going to be faster than you, or like you may still have a killer PR for yourself, and that's incredible. We don't want to be like, oh man, but now it's 50 close to overall. Well, who cares? I really try to instill and just look at myself and race. My race is a competitor of 1-1, which is me against me. And you get older, that's even more of a challenge. Like, like Val said, if your PR was your first half marathon, like that's incredible. A lot of people, the longer you run, the less likely it is that you're going to continue to PR. Like new runners, you might have more opportunities because you said you're building that level of fitness, consistency, and all that stuff that's lend itself to doing better. But you get to a certain point where you're like, okay, well maybe that's not necessarily hard anymore. That can take the joy out of it. Like even comparing yourself to yourself can be a slippery slope. So don't let that, detract from the enjoyment of what it's supposed to be. Like running is supposed to be fun and enjoyable and healthy and all those good things. So don't let that become the intended to all that good stuff that is happening.
I think for me, I used to look at other people and then go be like, oh, they're looking at such a high pace and whatever. And now I think I follow like you guys, and then now I'm just like, I take inspiration from there. So the other day, James went and he did 100-miler, and I was like, WTF. And like I said, and you guys are going and doing these incredible distances, and you're like, and I look at myself and like, I know I'm just starting it. So maybe one day I'll get there, I'll not, but I'm going to try, and I'm going to take this inspiration from you, where you are going so much out of your comfort zone and doing these distances, or at least trying. Like you tried for the 50 loop and then you did 42, but that's still like better than 0, right? So that's still hard thing you did to yourself. So, and I take so much inspiration from like when you go and put yourself in the line and try to do this, and I'm like, oh yeah, yes, that's, and people ask me why I want to do ultra, and it's because all my online friends are doing this. All my friends are like, they go in there killing themselves and doing these hard things. So I need to get out of my comfort zone, at least try this. And I'm scared. I'm chicken shit, right? Like being my first ultra, I'm like really nervous. The more I read about it, then the more like I posted yesterday about how I feel like my mileage is good and I'm hitting the right numbers. The nutrition is on point and the gels I'm taking under my long runs is on point. But I failed Berlin Marathon, and that keeps like pinging me back. And every time I'm just like, what if I cannot do this? So it's always that question where like, okay. All right. So, in terms of running, what's your ultimate guilty pleasure in running? When you finish a run, a marathon, do you go and eat something? Or I know some people like to listen to the loud music and they just go in the theme and then they like to have fun. So what is your ultimate guilty pleasure?
I think for me, I'm getting better at this, I think, because I'm just been slowly tweaking my fueling and like doing well enough. But I always love to like eat a ton of like delicious food after like a big race or, a long run. And but yeah, the kind of hard thing is when you run really, really far, sometimes it just kind of don't want to eat anything for a little while and then you do, so that's kind of something that I've learned. But yeah, for me, like, I don't know, like a big burger, like you can't go wrong with the burger and fries and a milkshake. And that's like one of the best things in life, right? So I guess that's my thing. I don't run so that I can eat. I eat so that I can run, but it sure is good when you're like feeling so hungry and tired.
Burger sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't have the best diet. I'll blame my kids because, there's just food we take time that kind of, they're easier types of foods. Well, I would say definitely after like a long day. Yeah, I don't necessarily ever feel guilty about eating, but like just knowing like, I ran 42 miles, so I can eat an entire pizza if I want to, and yeah, ice cream, that'd be great. I mean, my ice cream is always okay for me. Like, even if I don't run, there's always been for ice cream. Having kids, that's also some kind of benefit, and if they don't, then it's finished. Well, yeah, I definitely okay. That would definitely be I just, let's just not necessarily Jan or something, but again, not that it's just a bit.
I don't know, I'm very strict with food. I think for me it's food. I used to be fat, right? I don't know if I can use fat. I used to be big. So I'm so self conscious that whenever right now I'm trying to lose weight too. I feel like I'm overweight, so I'm trying to lose weight, and I always last week I tried to I tried to eat the right way, and I try not to eat any processed food and see if I can lose weight. So it's always been this playing a game of catch up with the weight where I was big and then I went skinny and now I got really bloated back and I'm so scared to eat food. Like I don't eat ice cream, even though it's so yummy, right? I have that so much of guilt that I'll get fat if I eat it. So I always skip ice cream, even though it's so good and I should be able to enjoy it. I eat pizza sometimes if I'm going for a long run the next day, then because I'm gonna burn it out. But yeah, it's so tricky with me because I was so fat and I'm so scared to eat food now. There is no guilty pleasure for me. It's just like, oh, what if I go back to the same thing? So I'm always so scared to eat food or enjoy it in general as much as we should be able to enjoy it, and I cannot do it. It sucks sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like food is really kind of hard because like everybody like has different, like food is emotional, you know what I mean? Like, and it's something that we all need, but something that I feel like our bodies, like as like cavemen or whatever, like we're not suited to the diet that is our modern diet, right? And so I feel like it's a tricky thing because even online and in the running community, there are some people where it's like, oh, they just are eating everything all the time, like because they're running so many miles, so they can just eat whatever they want, which I feel like is not necessarily true. Because like really, if you think about it, like a big burger, that's a run. Like that's a long run. But especially for me being a small woman, and it is hard because we want to like, and I think really like the goal is like we want to be healthy, right? And we also, like you said, you want to be able to enjoy, like you probably shouldn't be having, for me, like I love sweet, but I shouldn't be having sugar all the time just because that's not good for me. And so I feel like it's so easy to like get in those traps. And there's so many things online where it's like, oh, like you should be always intuitively eating. And I'm like, well, I intuitively would like to eat pizza for every meal and ice cream for every like all the time. And so I think for me, how like, not that you're looking for advice, but like from my perspective is what, like as a woman, like I feel the same. Like I think everybody feels this, men or women, like you want to make sure you're taking care of yourself, and also the like, like for me, it was always like, how am I supposed to be as small as I can be? Like that's what like women in our society, like that's what we're taught. Like, how can you be smaller? Like, how do you do that? And thankfully, I feel like for me, running has taught me that, like, first of all, food is fuel. If I'm eating crap, then I kind of feel like crap. And so what can I add in to make sure that I'm feeling good? So it's like, for me, carbs are easy, so I don't worry about those. But I do try to add in, like fruits and vegetables and like real food as much as I possibly can. And then also I try to make sure that I am getting protein because like really I do go to the gym and like as much as I'm like, oh, I'm just a mom, like I'm an athlete and I work hard. Like, and the only way to do that is by having enough protein and having enough carbs and getting the fiber that I need. And, and then I feel like when I focus on that, then I end up not needing necessarily having the cravings for the junk as much. And so I don't seek it. But then when like randomly it comes my way where it's like, hey, let's go ice cream or, like I'm feeling like I should have, like that sounds good. Then like, I feel like it's okay. It's okay to do. But yeah, I feel you like Ash, it's not easy. And I feel like it's not easy for anyone. And so you're not alone in that. And I feel like it's always a work in progress for me. And like sometimes I do worry because online I do like post more of the like, I'm eating donuts, like this is, ice cream, I love it. But like really, it's something that I think you're not alone in that worry.
I also think a lot of people woefully overestimate how many calories they burn on the workout. Like I just look now and just spit off like when we were talking about the topics. When I ran 42 miles, my wife says I'll burn around my activities taking it for 1 day. 4,830 calories. That was 10 hours worth of work though. So like, and it's not like I didn't still feel out. So you can get to that small stretch of like, I could eat anything. But can you? Yeah. I mean, what the like for how many hours of work that was? That's beyond a crazy amount. It could be because you could easily go past that if you had something ridiculous. That's the point, and don't punish yourself either. Like if you're generally speaking healthy, doing things in moderation, eating, exercise, whatever, like all that stuff is gonna be okay. Like it's not gonna be, I don't know. No, again, we should be going to think it. Like try to be reasonable with what you're doing on all fronts, and I think kids will be beneficial in their own ways. But yeah, I think that's a tough one. It's definitely a testing to words.
Yeah, it is hard, but I'll keep that in mind. Next time if I see ice cream, I'll say no. Just kidding. We'll take a scoop. And recently I've been thinking about this question a lot, and I put it in some of the group chats that I'm in, the running questions, and I didn't get a lot of good answers, or like to me what I think of running and why I do it, and then the people they posted, it was a lot of random things they posted around. So I want to ask you guys the same question. So why do you run?
Yeah, first, I like it. I've been running since I was in middle school. I started middle school cross country. I didn't do cross country in most of high school. So I did in 8th grade. when I stopped running for school, like 9th, 10th, I was going to run 11th because my team won the state championship. But I didn't, and I ran again senior year. I did other sports well, and I did tennis, so definitely not running. I just always enjoyed running. And went to college, and it's just easy activity. I did intramural sports, and I did intramural. I think I did tennis, basketball, you know, it could be softball, volleyball. So like always good sports, but I feel like it's something I enjoy. Like it for me now. It's been for a long period of time. It's just been my time for myself. Like when I talk with some of my crowds online, that especially those of us that are parents, like in order for me to be the best parent I could possibly be, I need to be healthy. If you are not healthy, I think this is like that's the you can control. And like certain using health issues that are out of your control and not in speech. But just in general, if I'm going to be able to be the best version of a parent for my kids, I need to be healthy. If my kids want to run or play or whatever, I don't want to be winded just stepping out the door. I want to be able to keep up with them. Hopefully I had them for a little bit. They're still younger, but and again, like we're talking about consistency, I'm kind of looking at the long run. Like when I go there, I still want to be able to keep up with them because they'll be younger, faster, whatever. But I think, we want to do family vacations or we want to go to a park. I know people that are not able to keep up with their trips, so they can't enjoy those activities, and I never want that to be something that's a barrier for me if I can control it. I talk a lot about the level of fitness and how quickly you can lose it. So why not just what you train on and get smarter? And this still may not be like training for races, but you should help. At least for me, I still want to maintain a level of fitness as long as they can. Val has a friend who does track at like a crazy age. And I just think that's so admirable. I know there are people in my area, 70-year-olds that are still running. Like, I think kudos to them. So I would love for that to be a possibility for me. That's so very long and deadline. And then
Long, good answer. It makes sense. It's not bad.
I always love the long answers. Tell me everything. Yeah, for me, I feel like the list keeps on growing. So when I first started running, I called it my mini vacations because as a mom and like it was during COVID, like I was so overwhelmed. Like I couldn't even go to the bathroom without like a kid needing something from me, knocking on the door, And so it was like a way to have some like time for myself. But then along with that, like checks so many other boxes. So like one, I can, be active and fit so that I can keep up with my kids and be a good example to them of like what you should do. This is how we take care of our bodies is you need to go and be active. And then also mentally, like this has kind of been a process for me. And maybe even in my stories, people are like, what is going on, Val? But like really for running for a long time, I feel like I used it to turn off my brain, which can be beneficial. And so like kind of a little bit of a disassociation there and like getting those endorphins and like, which can be good, but also I'm beginning to realize that like also it's a really safe environment to also process feelings. And so like actually letting yourself go places that you were like, I don't know, that's a little scary to think about. Like, I don't know if I want to like confront myself in that way. But like, there's something about like you're breathing and you're moving your body. And it's kind of like, I'm going to think about this right now. And that like I'm realizing can be really, really helpful. So I guess just all those like 3 things of just like, it's time for yourself. and it's good for you mentally and physically. And so like, and it's easy, kind of, in a way. You can just get your shoes on and go out the door. Like, I know we complicate it with like, oh, wait, I have the awesome shoes and I'm wearing these things, or, you know, whatever. But like, really, like, that's something that somebody can do, and you can do it at your own level. And it, you know, if that's a walk, run, or, you know, even just a hike or whatever it is, like, I feel like it's something that everybody needs. And the more I do it, the more I realize the amazing benefits.
Yeah, I would say, just to piggyback real quick off the one point, then it's good, you know, with your kids learning and hopefully incorporating some of those healthy habits into their lives. It's super beneficial to me. Like, now that my son is 10, he's the old kid, my young one's 3, but 10-year-olds, we can walk on yesterday, and he was like, "Dad, I want to go for a ride one with you." So, like, that's just super awesome. You know, I don't care how long he wants to go. I'll go. That makes sense. I'm sure it'll get to a point where maybe there'll be more of a challenge to keep up with him. I'll just take up more, but the fact that he's asking me and I'm not making him do it is like super rewarding as a parent. So I definitely think that's a good thing. It's kind of incorporating some of the running aspects into his primary sports. And I was like, "Oh, Dad, can you just not train nobody who wants to? Like, how can I do it?" And that's why we do it. And that's the kind of stuff that's, you know, really nice, is parental outreach to kind of help share whatever knowledge we have with them at the end of the day.
Yeah, thank you for that. That was really nice answers you guys gave, and I can resonate with that, some of it. And before we go, last final thing. So you are coming to the end of the race, what you're doing, and then there is this, you can plan the finish line. So who's going to be there, what's playing, and what's the vibe for your finish line setup?
I guess I'll go first. I don't know. I just, like, along with my kids and family, like, some of my best memories are at races, are, you know, like my sister, when she came to London with me to like be my little cheer squad, and she like literally ran all around London trying to catch me at different spots, but there were so many people. And whenever I've seen, like, my kids have come to my races, and just like seeing me through their eyes in those moments, like, it's just really special to me. And then for music, like, I don't know, it could be anything. I love everything, but probably something, you know, just like really peppy and chill and exciting and all the things. So I guess that would be my dream scenario. I don't know.
Yeah, I will kind of echo a lot of what Val said. For me, you know, I'll go back to the Philly Marathon 2023, like you were saying with London. My wife and kids were there, so it was really cool to see them throughout the different parts of Philadelphia. And the crazy part, I think, in particular, are like those larger races. I don't know, London's at an even bigger level than Philly is. It's like, there's just so many people and so loud, and it's really hard to find your people. But somehow you always, I don't know, I feel like you just have this like sixth sense of like, okay, I'm going to look left or I'm going to look right, and there they are. And it's just really awesome to be able to do that. I know that, like, it's definitely really rewarding. So I was able to see them a couple times during the race, and then my wife, you know, was texting me, thank goodness for technology, I guess, like, okay, when you're close to finishing, I'm like at this spot on the left side. And it was just super awesome to be able to, you know, get to that point, especially like those longer ones where you're like, it's a lot of effort. It's no long period of time. So just to be able to share that, that with your family, I think is really, really awesome. I don't necessarily care about picture tape or anything like that. Just having them around is probably all I will share.
All right. That was great answers, and thank you so much for that. And I think this was fun. And like we said earlier on, I don't know if you guys agree to not, but we're going to do this monthly now. So there is it. No PRs, no pressure, just three talking nonsense or ultra nonsense. So before we go, just one word to describe where you are at your running, and then we can say bye.
I'll take the way up there. I'll say consistent. As a guy who runs every day, just try to be consistent with whatever that is for that day is changes. But last week was a good week for me. I made it over 30 miles, which is cool. And
Toot toot.
other weeks it's a little less, but that's okay. I'm showing up and getting at least a mile a day. So
I think maybe the word for me right now is flexibility. So just like trying to make it work with my schedule and but still like moving forward and keeping my goals. So yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. This was fun, and hope to see you guys next time in the second episode of Cool Kids.
thank you. Thanks
Sounds
for having
good.
me
Thanks.
again.
Yeah. Thank you, and see you next time.
Bye.
Okay.
Okay, bye. Hey everyone, thank you for making it to the end of the podcast. I hope you really enjoyed this conversation. I'll see you again next time with another guest. Until then, happy running.